Okay, so what do we have here in the project? Well, it's a typical IDE with code in the middle. In this case, we're editing an XML layout file. So we have a layout preview over on the right. And on the left, we have the project pane, which has the structure of our workshop app project. So briefly, I just want to help you navigate this so you're not at a loss, because this project structure is different than the Eclipse project structure you may be familiar with. There are some documentation in the Android documentation, about how to migrate projects from Eclipse to Android Studio. So if you need to migrate from Eclipse to Android Studio, you can visit the Android developer site and find out the steps to take on how to move to the new project structure and how to use Gradle for your build system. It's pretty easy. It sounds like it's a lot of work, but really it's not. So anyhow, in the pane, we have the first folder here is a .idea folder. And this is, the IDEA is IntelliJ's. It's files that are needed for the project within the context of the IDE. So we'll never have to actually edit those probably. I'm going to skip app for a section. Down here is a Gradle section, and there are actually two levels of Gradle here. One is for the entire project, and that's what this is. And right now we're not going to look at this, and it won't add anything because we only have one module within our app. But you'll notice that each individual module has its own Gradle file, and that way you can configure, if needed, you can configure one module to work and build differently than another, or maybe work with the dependencies a little bit differently if a third-party library has different dependencies than your main application. Down here below are a few more files that we, again, probably won't need to touch. Here are some related to Gradle, and if you see there's a build Gradle within the app module. And here's one at the parent directory within the whole project. This one, if we look at it, doesn't really have anything. It's for configuration for the entire project that will be common across. But we'll take a look at the one inside the app module in just a moment. And then I wanted to say just these IML files are, again, IntelliJ files that we don't really need to worry about. You probably never have to touch them. But just so you know what they are, you can see it has the IntelliJ icon built in. Next, inside our app module, there's a build directory, and this contains all the generated code that's built for us every time our project builds. So the r.java file and all the resources that get compiled for our project, they end up here, and we'll never have to touch that manually. It gets generated for us automatically. So then finally, it leaves us the source directory, and this is where all of our development happens. So here we have a main directory, and then we have Java and resources. So if we keep drilling down, we can get all the way to our Java source files. This is our main package, our activity, and we can add additional class files here. We can add additional packages, etc. And then here in the resources directory, remember RES stands for resources, we have all of our different string resources, layout files, drawable resources like icons, etc. So here you can see the couple of layout files that we're working with.